We're going to call order the village board meeting at the Lisbon Village Hall on Wednesday, September 6th, 2023 at 6:32 p.m. Roll call, please.
President Osterman
Here.
and trustee Quinn. Here. Trustee Moonen.
Here.
Trustee Beal. Here. Treasurer Gerard. Here. Administrator Nicholas. Here. And clerk Capazzo Catch to record the minutes.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3 is comments from citizens present. We have one person on Zoom, nobody in the audience.
If anyone on Zoom wants to speak for citizen comment, please use the raise hand function. No hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. Item 4 is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a village board member requests that an item be removed. We have the August 9th, 2023 village board minutes. The resurfacing program pay request number 1 to Wolf Paving in the amount of $442,302.67. We have the purchase of grinder pump locks from Bonafide in the amount of $899.65. Then we have the ordinance 2023-16 to rezone LSBT 0255.998 from A10 agricultural to R1 residential. And then we have the approval of a 2-lot certified survey map for the Mike Breland on the parcel at LSBT 0159.996. Any questions or comments? Or is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including all plan commission recommendations and conditions where applicable.
Motion by Linda, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Paula. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 5 is accounts payable. We have A, authorizing the payment of the Falls Auto Parts bill dated 8/24/2023 for the amount of $19.36. Comments or question, or is there a motion on this item? Moved by Mark, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Linda, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have item B, authorizing the payment of the remaining bills dated 8/24/23 for the amount of $331,995.22.
Top 5 expenses are $86,666.22 for Waukesha County Treasurer, $83,703.86 for U.S. Bank for $50,642 for Farner Asphalt, $36,736.53 for Kunkel Engineering, and $13,143.30 for Anthem Blue Cross. I ask for your approval.
Any comments or questions, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the payment of the remaining bills dated to 8/24/23 for $331,995.22.
Moved by Paula to approve, is there a second? Second by Mark, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item C, we have authorizing the payment of the utility district bills dated 8/31/23 for the amount of $16,602.55.
We have tax management and financial horizons for $1,913.50. Village of Sussex for $14,518.80. The We Energies utility bill for $53.58, and miscellaneous expense for workforce software of $116.67. I ask for your approval.
Comments or questions, or is there a motion?
I had a question on that. I saw there was a check number on that tax management. But there wasn't. Am I reading that correctly? The $1,906 went to the deputy secretary.
And then $7.20 for postage.
I don't know why they would have a $0 entry for tax management plan for corrections. Unless it's just something they leave on there.
They don't leave it on there every month. And why it's the same check? Even like the next one is the same check, but it is what it is.
It's
Well,
the vendor name versus the account number title. The vendor that they're paying is Tax Management and Financial Horizons. The account number is Deputy Secretary and Bookkeeping, and then the other account number is postage. It's it's the line item title for that account number. Like we have line items for election poll workers and election supplies. Does that make sense?
yeah, I see how they're doing.
That's his GL numbers, basically.
Yep.
And then the next breakdown is Sussex, the next one. The other.
Mhm.
No question.
Okay,
Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we accept to pay the bills for the public service and sewer commission for $16,603.55.
Is there a second?
I think it's 603.
Oops. Did I miss something?
It's 6:02. Yeah.
602.33.55.
Motion is for 16,602.55 by Linda. Is there a second? Second by Mark. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. We have the dedication of the Emily Sold Memorial Basketball Court on Saturday, the 9th, from 1 to 3 p.m. at Lisbon Oaks Park. We have the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 20th, here at 5 p.m. at the Village Hall. We have a Village Board workshop on Monday, the 25th at 6:30 p.m. here at the Village Hall. Joint Public Hearings and Plan Commission meeting on the 27th at 6:30 p.m. here at the, or excuse me, at the Richard Young Fire Station. Village Board workshop then on October 4th at 6:30 at the Village Hall. A Parks Committee meeting on the 11th at 5 p.m. here at the Village Hall, and then the next Village Board meeting is also on the 11th of October at 6:30 here at the Village Hall. Any other announcements or correspondence?
Just a reminder, I sent out information on the grand opening at Quick Trip on
Yes.
Silver Spring, which is the 27th, and also a grand opening, a groundbreaking for Attitude Dance is scheduled for the 21st. I don't have an actual time yet. I will pass that on.
Do you have any idea when the new Quick Trip is gonna open there?
November,
November? What about Pizza Pal or Pizza
spring.
Spring? Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, anything, any other announcements, correspondence?
Mm-mm.
All right, item 7, Administrator Report.
All right, we completed the ordinance to transfer properties from Lisbon to Merton as required by the cooperative boundary agreements approved July 2020. Sent letters to R&R Insurance for health insurance brokerage change from Horton. Sent letters to the RFP for all of those vendors that sent us a proposal. Sent all liability insurance information out to 2 new insurance companies for quotes. Also met with Linda from Rural Insurance to receive a quote from them as well. Wrote and met with department heads for their annual evaluations and completed minutes, agendas, and packets for the Parks Committee. Worked on tax identification number for the village to get our state to get on state sites, and then sent out general budgets to department heads for their budget requests. Evaluated Lisa and Jasmine, spoke with Sussex and Hamilton School District to discuss their large increase in sewer flows. Worked on sewer code portion, which will be discussed at the next Public Works and Utility meeting. Discussed with Don Kunkel on Circle Press, Richmond School, and maps needed for the sewer system. Worked with Don to get a letter written and sent out to the Richmond School concerning sewer information. Completed work on non-metallic mining reclamation ordinance and sent it to the DNR for their review. Had our first meeting with Gov HR that is doing the compensation and benefit study to discuss timeline and sent them the first set of information they have requested. They'll have a meeting with the staff on September 27th to review the process. Set up and attended the meeting with Lisbon Stone to discuss quarry water fund and timeline for Circle Crest subdivision water. The departments, I sent out the clerk and the DPW departments reports earlier today to all of you. The clerk drafted various ordinance summaries as needed and sent them to the newspaper for publication, prepared agenda and minutes for village board, plan commission, public works, and utility and JRB meeting for the TID. Work through annual evaluations with myself for clerk, for herself and the deputy clerk, coordinated with the planner and administrator on shoreline ordinance middle to the county and state. In highway, started the second round of roadside mowing, replaced double culverts in the north end of Plainview Parkway. Restoration work has been done around the new basketball court, clean ditches in various areas. The Parks Division installed freshly painted volleyball net posts at Lisbon Oaks Park. Plants were installed at by Johnson Nursery for the Great Memorial, and staff has been watering as needed and perform maintenance, mulch, and weed maintenance at the parks. DPW directors spent time with the Parks Division to attend to their concerns. Some concerns that have come up, and then started working on the shed at the compost and worked on their operating budgets. That's what I have for my report.
What are they planning on doing additionally to the shed?
They're putting some electrical in it. Get rid of a tower they have there, a light tower that they have in the compost site.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Kathy?
Mm-mm.
Thank you very much. One item 8 then, new business. E, discussion necessary action regarding ordinance 2023-15 attaching territory to the village of Merton.
Right, so as I mentioned earlier, this ordinance is to comply with our cooperative boundary agreement, which states that that the detachments have to occur once we become a village. So we have I have written up a ordinance to address that, and then we will have to get it out to the Secretary of State as well as the county. You can see in Exhibit D, which properties will be transferred. And then on the back part of Exhibit D are the actual properties. There's 5 properties that are transferred that are surrounded by the village of Merton. So I ask for your approval.
Any questions? This is the final prop. I mean, there's nothing else in after
No.
this. We are,
We're done.
once this happens, this is what Lisbon looks like for the rest of our lives.
That's right.
How are these people? Have you heard from these people? How are they accepting this?
No, I went through this and then I gave you a copy of a letter.
Right,
I
I just read it.
and
Yeah,
I did not hear from anyone.
okay.
I have. We, obviously, you and I have talked about this many times, so I have no questions on this.
I'm gonna double check. I sent this out. We've got the date that's correct. But just double check it. If not, it'll be sent out.
I'm just curious when this original line was drawn, because that's just such a weird chunk to take
Yeah.
to
I was
Lisbon.
gonna say, it's really odd.
Which one?
Just right here, so it's just
Yeah.
a weird chunk to take.
Yeah.
It's what they had development request for.
Annexation.
Okay.
I think that
I'm
one,
just glad it was only that.
I think the one on the Ainsworth is part of that new development, I think it's the farm status.
Yeah. And that little spot that was on Silver Spring there was just an oversight over the years, I think, where Stammel's was.
Mhm.
The last thing I think I talked about was Tom Nelson about that one. Does anyone wish to make a motion on the title?
I'll make a motion to accept the detaching the territory to the Village of Merton in ordinance 2023-15.
By Paul, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Linda. Any other discussion?
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item B, discussion and necessary action regarding 2023 Waukesha County tax billing contract.
All right, so, start with the, tax billing. We get this every year. The county does all of our prep work for the billing. We work with a contractor. They have the software that we enter all the information in, from all the different jurisdictions. And it creates the, tax bills that we see with, that, you get in the mail. We had an issue with tax bills being delivered last year. But I'm gonna pass it along to Natasha because she has worked with the county to help fix that.
So I sat on the RFP committee for the last couple months, and then the vendor was awarded to, it was a local vendor out of Milwaukee, so that's a positive. Let's see, the county, just because they did have other issues, not just with our municipality, but with late bills in general. They have pushed up their deadline to November 20th, so the tax bills need to be reconciled, inserts all done November 20th. Last year it was December 1st, I believe, but Kathy and I set like a Thanksgiving deadline, so we will be able to meet the November 20th deadline, no problem. I started the inserts last month. I started just designing and formatting the template, so we should be fine.
So the rate has increased to $1.84. Unfortunately, they didn't tell us. I think it was $1.74 last year. And in 2025, the rate will be $1.91 a person. So I ask for your approval for us to sign it.
Comments from the board? Anything for you, Linda?
Mm-mm. Nothing.
Mark?
I think just, we can convey to the Public Works Committee too, that there's an impact in November for tax bill stuff.
I'll remind me again.
Just so
Okay.
they're aware of the change.
Good point.
It's all good.
Thank you.
Nothing from me.
Is there a motion on this item? Make the motion that we award the 2023 Waukesha County tax billing contract as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Linda. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item C, discussion only regarding 2023 through 24 Waukesha County tax collection.
So first off, I'd just like to start by talking through last year's process. So the tax collection process at the window went very well last year with the county's assistance. All staff were able to help by accepting the payments at the window. Even if a line formed, we all just stepped in. Residents understood they would receive the receipt by mail. And we did not have complaints about that process. There was confusion as to why some received 2 bills but overall, most people were understanding. They were not frustrated. They were just asking, questions. So it went very smoothly, so much so that we'd like to bring back selling compost passes during the tax season, and we have not done that in many years. So I think that would be a really big win for our residents where they can come and pay taxes, handle their dog licensing, and then compost all at once. So that is the recap from last year. Moving on to a cost analysis of the tax collection services. So starting off, the county collections did send us a contract. There's no rate increase. And we'd anticipate the bill to be around 10,000, just like last year. I did speak with the bank. Waukesha State Bank is not offering tax collection services again this year. And the bank previously assisted us with approximately 40% of the payments in the past. So the lack of bank support last year, and in terms of the volume of processing all of those payments plus staffing, were some of the reasons we went and contracted with the county last year. In terms of staffing at Village Hall, with the deputies, Lisa will start year end during the busiest weeks of collection, which is at the end of December. Based on last year, she will need to start right after the final payroll and the AP check run, which is around December 21st, 22nd, prime time for tax collection. So it would be challenging to have her help at all at the window. Jasmine is available to help with the majority of dog licenses and compost passes. We'd be able to add that during the December busy season. And I know, we will all pitch in that way because the line does form with dog licenses. If there's multiples, sometimes that's where the line is. Last year, there was no line for taxes, as we were able to just jump in and, speak with the resident, explain the issue with the tax bills. But since we weren't receiving, it's more of a drop off and it's a quick transaction and no line. So moving on to software, the Banyan software needs licensing updates, and that's for the tax receipting. The licensing updates plus training costs are estimated at $3,500. Just to note, there would be a significant amount of training on my part, as I would need to learn the software. I haven't learned it. And I know that there's a lot of daily reconciliation and reporting, overpayment reports, uploading it to the county. And then also there's other training in terms of remote deposit for the bank, credit card process, which we have not done here in many years. And we haven't done with our new credit card vendor either. Plus there's a lot of back office accounting workarounds because Banyan doesn't integrate in any way with our current software. So leads me to my next point. I reached out to Civic Systems, which is our software, for an updated timeline and cost estimate for the tax module. I do not have that cost yet. But I do know that Sussex is planning to beta test the software next year. So next tax season. Other costs to consider for in-house collections would be like the remote deposit services with the bank. Printing and envelope stationery costs are minimal, but the postage cost is a big one. So that is dependent on how many receipts would be mailed. So that means everything that's mailed, all the escrow checks, all the credit cards, those all need to be processed, receipted. And then, the postage is added. So I would say $1,500. Again, that depends on how many people are coming in to pay in person versus mailing. I think some of that is dependent on public perception and the media around the holiday time and whether or not, people have issues with Dropbox security or issues mailing checks. So, like I said, that's just an estimate, and postage that would go up if we had less in person or down if we had more in person. Let's see. Potentially the main cost, in addition to updating Banyan, would be a part-time person to assist me with collections. That in the past has been between $4,000 and $5,000. So if we add all of those costs together, I would estimate that in-house would be around $10,000. Other factors, resident experience in terms of lines and, I know that when we had in-house collections, we did have a long line, and that was with Waukesha State Bank handling 40% of collections. So that's a main concern for me. Another just another factor is also the tender type. So we're not talking about just in-person payments, but it would be everything that's mailed, everything in the 3 drop boxes, and all of the escrow, and then credit card payments being brought here as well. So that's a lot to take on without the assistance of the tellers at the bank taking on that additional 40%. I did reach out to the county, and they will not help with, let's say they would process maybe credit cards and mail for us and be our lockbox. And they said it's an all or nothing approach with them.
So what we're requesting is for us to continue with the process that we have currently, where we are, the county is doing our collection for us, with the understanding that we have software that's coming down the pike a bit, and we'll work toward getting our staff to the point where they will be able to be available to help, as well as this new system will be able to work right into our current environment that we're using on a daily. So right now Jasmine is working on receipting, but Lisa is not. And so that's something that we can work on as part of the transition to get prepared for. We have the beta test next year, and we'd like to get Natasha in to sit with Sussex and go through that, how they're collecting and how that's working with the new system before we bring it on. But we discussed the possibility of putting in at this year's budget, putting in a portion for that software, and then next year a portion for the software to cover the cost of this new module that will be coming forward. So we're asking to move forward with what we did in the past, the last 2 years now, and to continue that instead of doing a between process. So we changed the process this year, and in 2 years we'd be changing the process again. So in order to make it a smooth for our residents, we're bringing on a little bit more work with the compost at tax season time, but at the same time, we're allowing our Lisa to continue learning her year end and doing that all by herself. So by next year, she'll be able to learn some receipting, and maybe it won't take her as long to get year end done. That's the request.
So to piggyback off of that is just that, Lisa does need to start year end in December, as soon as she can. But the goal would be that she would be able to start in January and help me at the window in the future, through the 2 main intense weeks at the end of December, the busiest.
So you mentioned you need to bring somebody new in, the amount of $4,000 or $5,000 to help you? And you did that last year too?
No, we would not have to bring in anyone extra if
Oh.
we go with the county. We would not
Right.
have to do
Oh, I
that.
thought you mentioned about an assistant or something to help you.
That was kind of the breakdown,
Oh.
what the cost was for the county. And she
Okay.
broke it down with all the extra expenses, and that $5,000 was part of that expense.
Okay,
So this wasn't what we were trying to show was there's not a savings, a cost savings for us doing it at this point,
okay.
because we don't have the staffing ready to be able to help, and we don't have the software to
It's kind of
To
pointless for
implement.
us to go to one software and then in a year or two switch to another software and then have to train everybody, and then now you gotta forget what you learned and go to the other one.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, this kind of seems like a no-brainer this year.
There's no guarantees that we're going with the add-on module, right? I mean,
There's,
if data goes bad,
yeah, we'd have to
And you can
revisit
make the
it.
decision.
Yeah. Mhm.
is there a backup plan in that case? Or will we just continue as status quo?
I don't have a backup plan, but Banyan, if there was if it was decided, no, we're not moving forward with it, we're not budgeting for it. You know, it's too expensive, or like you said, the beta, it's not ready for 3 years, let's say, or maybe they pull it. You know, then we would talk about Banyan, because that would be the option.
Yeah, there's only there's only one option out there right now that works with the county. That will allow, the work that is done at a municipal level to transfer to the county software. And so, Civic has to work with the county to get that to, work for us. And we were hoping not to be a beta site, let Sussex do that part. And then we, let them learn the lessons through that and then take it from there.
You said we would look to set aside some money this year. How do we even know what would be appropriate? Why not just wait till next year?
We could do that. We could do
I
that.
mean, what is
The reason we
what's
thought
the
about,
Well, the utility one, it costs around $20,000. 15 to 20,000, depending on how much training. So you could assume tax is going to cost 20,000. I did reach out, I'm just waiting to hear that.
that's with the, training as well. That's not the actual module.
So we'd have to
But
buy,
train-
we'd have to buy the tax and utility.
No. That, she was just giving you an example of the utility
Yeah.
module. So if we bring the utility module in-house and start doing, utility payments here, then, that module, she looked at that cost, so she knew what that would be. So it was kind of to give an idea of what modules cost.
Sure.
But that's only the one-time fee. You're still paying for, you know, service fee, the annual service fees and support.
Which we do with the rest of the system.
Mhm.
I just had it on page 4 of that appendix 80. There's 2 different cost breakdowns. Which one are we buying?
So we would fall under the $2.30, because we don't have a lockbox. The lockbox was that was the cost when Waukesha State Bank was doing collection.
Mhm.
And so, the county keeps it, less expensive because, a portion of the cost was being borne by the bank. And so they were opening it, they were doing all the processing. Now they're not doing that, so we don't have an option. We've had other municipalities that tried different banks and they ended up going back, just having the county do it in the long run. So, without a lockbox. So it would be the $2.30, like we said, it's no increase from last year.
And it looks like this is a year to year.
It is a year to year, so we would bring it back to you again next year.
I don't know, it sounds like we've got a system that's working right now and. You know, depending on what happens with the beta test. And I agree with letting it Sussex go first on that.
Yeah. Learn
If
from
you
it.
ever did a beta test, you'd
Yeah,
want somebody
I-
else to do it from then on.
I have,
Yeah,
so,
me
yeah.
too.
There's no action on this tonight.
No, it was just for discussion. We didn't know we were gonna have the contract. They came just with yesterday,
Mhm.
It'd be
and
good.
so,
Becky was here too for that one.
and so we can, we'll bring it and put it back on the agenda for next.
Everybody good? All right, item D, discussion only regarding water and sewer needs for Circle Crest Park subdivision.
All right, so, we've been talking about Circle Crest subdivision. We just started touching on that a little bit with our utility committee. And, I thought bringing it forward, to get an understanding, we spoke with, Stone, and they would like it moved faster than, for the water portion. And I needed to get an idea if the board also agrees that if we were going to do water, that we would be also looking at bringing in sewer. The water portion will be 100% covered by Land and Stone, from the pipes in the road to the pipes to the property and the work in the house.
Very generous of them.
Yeah,
We decided on that yet?
They did.
But
They
don't
said
get-
that they would pay for it.
But that, right, I mean, ultimately, I think, not to speak for it, but. Their wishes were to have it be that way, but.
Yeah.
They also know it's gonna be our decision.
Sorry. They were just willing. to
Yeah, they
have it,
wanted
but-
that, we
yes.
just have a finite amount of money that we've received for the quarry district, but it's
Right,
depending, I mean, because we don't have exact costs yet. Yeah, but,
until we do field work.
right.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers on this that are on those sheets are super preliminary. There needs to be geo testing that needs to be done. But we wanted to get something together to eventually move towards public meeting, give people information. I guess one of the things that, like we just stated, we have to essentially set what is gonna be our initial precedent for how we wanna establish
Mhm.
using the fund. As we just conveyed, their wishes were, let's just get the whole thing in, use the water fund. But, long term, that also would slow down the ability to use the fund because essentially, we're estimating that we're gonna complete the current balance of the fund. Should we use it all on this initial project? So that just slows down the other identified areas in the future.
This was the greatest need area, which we knew already from years ago, but. Which you now you don't have later either, but it's.
Mhm.
The next one is gonna be a very large area to it, or subdivision.
Which one?
Lisbon Road,
Oh, yeah.
there's another one over there that's gonna be in need. They're okay right now. I don't think there's been a lot of issues right now, but it'll come, it'll happen.
So tonight, I just wanted to get a feel from the board if you agree or disagree that if water is brought in, that we should also bring in sewer. And then two, if you have any thoughts on us starting our process to talk with the residents.
Oh, when they see these figures, they're gonna,
Well, the water figure potentially could
Oh,
be
I know.
zero. It could potentially be
I know.
zero, but the sewer figure won't be.
but when I was talking to Kathy today, the thing that I see on here is I know the original committee. That I wasn't on the original committee for the sewer. They put, everyone paid the same, no matter what your footage was, everyone paid the same because everybody got the same service. So that's something I guess that we're gonna have to decide. Because you'll see some of these are like 20,000, there's one at 40,000,
It's the sewer.
And
is
it's
gonna be the wild
preliminary.
card Because you don't know how deep the rock is.
exactly. There was a lot of problems over by us. Lot of issues with dynamite and stuff.
We do have capacity purchased for this area,
Uh-huh,
plant and interceptor. The line interceptor could not be any closer.
Yep.
It is right there.
and then on top of that. I brought the figures just for, hookup fees alone. If it's the same here, $15,390 this year. On top of this, this is what it
For the
costs.
sewer.
For
Mhm.
sewer. That's not correct. That's, Mike had found a flaw in that, what he gave out,
Okay,
so,
well, this is.
Because it's different in each area.
yes.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. This is the net for this now,
This
for our
one,
area,
so where this subdivision is,
right,
it's right on the land and interceptor and there's not a lot of
right, right,
pipe to go, but which is good.
right. Well, that's what I said. This is all our area
And I
here, but
believe when we
other-
purchased this capacity in the original board agreement, it was early,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which will affect that also.
Mhm.
And it's all in the sewer district, so we're all set. We don't have to do any work on sewer with sewer pack,
Mhm.
so. We'll be discussing it again at the Public Works and Utility meeting. But just wanted to get a feel for where you're
Mhm.
going.
I mean, it's something we gotta think too as a board of the whole. Is there could be pushback with, people are gonna be, yeah, it's nice that we're getting water for free, but. We're also gonna have a large assessment on our house.
And there's been a lot of complaints.
Well, and I guess in a neighborhood like this, we believe based off just anecdotal statements that there are a lot of people in need of a new system. So maybe this one doesn't put a lot of public outcry.
And that's where the thing's gonna be. This is an older subdivision. It's a matter of have these septics been replaced? Have they not been replaced? I mean, they'd only last so long,
Mhm.
but it's that's what it's gonna come down to.
It is.
You know, I mean, personally, that ground, it's, there's not a lot of
Saturated.
ground there. It's, the rock, I believe, is pretty shallow, which could really affect the cost.
Yes.
So you have to blast, but the other end of it is, it isn't, we don't even have to go across the road. I mean, it's gonna go south. Both
Mhm.
roads will go, well, one little stub will go north, but the other one goes south and meet, and it's literally
Mhm.
right there at the end of the road. So I mean, of any area that would, if the stone isn't as big a factor, I mean, there isn't a lot of areas that are more of a candidate to get both, but
Right.
I think it's gonna come down to cost. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
I
it
mean,
is.
if we do go in on the water plus the sewer, we're, you know, potentially we're gonna be funding the initial funding for it, so.
What happened? Well, what they did originally when we paid for ours years ago, you got, I think was an easy 10-year payment plan. So we didn't have to, the town of Lisbon did not put out any money for us at all. Because it was borrowed and we all paid for it on our taxes. So the village shouldn't have to pay for anything.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to pay for the initial install.
Yeah, but there'll be, yeah, there will be, it'll be a loan or whatever it will be, and they'll be charging them on their loans. And you have to decide if you want to get into the banking business, which I think you have to with this many people, you know. Because the prior commission, we weren't real thrilled about loaning people money per se, being a bank. But when it's a big project like this, it almost has to be.
You gotta use the community to start. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a loan, but.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Not many people have this kind of money.
So,
Well, we would have to loan to do the infrastructure because we would organize the project, we'd pay for the project, and then we would just assess the money back.
Exactly.
so are you in agreement that, if we're doing water, we're doing sewer?
I think it's a wise thing myself. If you break up the roads, it's a time to do it.
For me, it's depending on cost. I mean, I think initially, I think it's prudent. I mean, I really do, but.
You don't
it's all
think it's
gonna-
prudent?
I do think it's prudent.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's gonna depend if that ground, if that stone is right there. And all of a sudden, we're getting to the point where this is a $3 million project, that, in my opinion, could change very quickly, because,
yeah.
yeah, these houses will be worth more, but that's not gonna justify what a cost would be if,
It's gonna be
Exactly.
horrendous. It is.
I mean,
Well-
mounds are 35,000, I guess now.
But it saves some
I
money.
talked to somebody, just they want to put one in, 35 grand, complete mounts. Now, that doesn't mean they got a good deal though. That just means that's what they paid.
Who was that?
A friend that paid 35,000 for a mound to be installed about 1.5 years ago,
Yeah, isn't that something?
but a septic system is less,
Yeah.
but I don't even know what's all over there, to be honest.
It's gonna be very stressful meetings.
Yeah,
With
the
these
water is
people.
definitely.
The water, they're gonna be thrilled about the water,
Well,
but they don't realize that they're gonna save money by doing it at the same time. If
Quite
we
a
go
few
back in
people
and,
have got-
huh?
Quite a few of these people have brand new wells that they don't have to pay utility bills on, so
Yeah,
I don't know, they're gonna be, I think a lot of
That
them will be
way.
happy, but
that way, yes.
And that's something we're gonna have to have a stance on too, is are we gonna allow private wells in this area for maybe the purpose of outdoor water?
Outdoor water.
I would be in favor of that person.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too.
And there's one property right next to the subdivision that would be connecting also, and that's a nursery, so she would like to continue with her well water for the nursery portion.
Sure.
So Linda, you're both at this time?
Mhm.
I mean, this isn't binding right here.
No, and I know the
Both.
costs. I mean, obviously the cost, but
Hopefully.
Yeah, Mark,
Yeah, I'm in the same stance that you are. I do support it right now, going forward with both of them, but I mean, it could become a huge cost burden on the entire village for, you know, if we have huge obstacles to surmount, so.
I definitely don't want grinder pumps.
mm-mm.
Paula?
Yeah, I'm with you and Mark on this. I don't think we know enough to. Yet,
Water for sure, everybody, but sewer is.
Yeah.
Probable, but not,
Not cut and stone.
yeah, we need the information,
Mhm.
So the geoteching is
yeah, pretty important,
what we need to get done first,
yeah.
so we can see what's going on. Okay,
Any other-
Now, is that the amount, you had that in a separate ledger for what this is cost to checking it? So eventually the residents over there pay for that instead of the village paying for it?
or,
For getting all the
Sewer.
cost figures?
oh, yes, it's gonna be taken out of the water and sewer, water fund. or-
Utility is just like a
For
sanitary
utilities,
district
yeah.
was, it's gonna be a separate entity.
Yeah.
That's required.
Sooner or later, having this meeting with the residents, I think sooner is better.
I mean, we're thinking about starting this very soon. so
Yes.
Yes,
I think we need to get
So
that.
get
going.
something going.
yes,
October,
sure.
One in October, I'll be gone, middle of it.
okay. We'll work on a date that works for everyone. And we'll talk to the utility district, the Public Works Utility Committee and try to get something. I just wanted to see if we were in favor of getting a meeting together. So we'll start at that point. Thank you.
Item 9 is going to close session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.5 parent C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. More specifically regarding a personnel union election matter. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion, we're going to close session.
Moved by Linda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Paula.
Good luck
Roll
with
call, please.
you. How long you have to leave that on for?
Trustee Beal,
Pardon me?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna go into closed
Want to
session?
go into close?
Yes.
Trustee Moon.
Yes.
Trustee Quinn.
Aye.
And President Osterman.
Let me think about it. All right. We're in closed session at 7:18.
7:18. Give me just a moment to pause the recording.